MrBeast, illegal rigging, lotteries, and NDAs by LegalEagle.
Trouble in Beastland? MrBeast is facing controversy on several different fronts, and all this comes at a terrible time, right when Amazon is investing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars into the Beast games, which is facing its own controversy. Now, a lot of this is outside of my field, but people are claiming that MrBeast broke the law, and that is my bat signal, or eagle signal. From Feastables to the Beast games, he can do it all. Or can he? An ex-employee is making waves by claiming that everything about MrBeast's empire is fake.
If what we did was scripted, holy shit, this stuff would be easy to pump out.
Have you ever faked a video?
No.
But this train track is CGI, these bus wheels are CGI, this explosion is fake, this shredder is CGI, this car is digitally lifted, this pit is fake, this guy is fake, this raccoon is a paid actor.
And it doesn't stop there. There are claims that MrBeast's frequent giveaways are actually illegal lotteries, and that MrBeast contests run afoul of federal anti-rigging laws. And looking at the other side, the ex-employee may have signed a non-disclosure agreement, which he might be violating by producing his videos. Is he going to be in trouble too? Well, to understand all this, you have to understand who MrBeast is and what a MrBeast video is. Well, MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, is known for his elaborate and philanthropic videos. His videos often feature massive challenges, expensive stunts, and big giveaways. MrBeast has over 300 million subscribers, and he's expanded his empire to candy bars and to cheeseburgers, and will soon host a game show on Amazon Prime. And now an ex-employee claims that MrBeast fakes his videos and runs illegal lotteries. The man, who goes by Dogpack404 on Twitter, alleged that MrBeast's company engaged in fake giveaways, rigged videos, ran illegal lotteries, and sold fake signatures. Though,
I want to take a second to point out, notice the vernacular that he is using. It has been alleged, it has been claimed, it has been, that kind of thing. There's a very specific way to speak in regards to legality. I've not taken the bar test. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not legal counsel in any capacity. There are certain things I've picked up on that, in my opinion, are just best practice.
According to Chucky Appleby, who runs MrBeast's Ideas and Thumbnails team, the man worked for MrBeast for less than a month before he was fired for erratic behavior. But the former worker started a YouTube channel and produced a video alleging that MrBeast runs illegal lotteries.
And obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just going to show you the law and then show you irrefutable evidence of what's being done, and you can make your own conclusions. The FTC defines a lottery as containing 3 elements.
And here he's mostly correct about the legal elements of a lottery. This varies state by state, but most jurisdictions define a lottery as having 3 elements. Consideration, which is payment to participate, a prize, which must be something of value, and chance, which means that the winner is determined by luck. If all 3 of these elements are present and the lottery is not regulated, it is likely illegal, because lotteries in the United States are exclusively run by the government. Now, this is in contrast to what I'll generally call a
I actually didn't know that, actually. I thought it was private.
Contest, which is not based on chance so much as skill or intellect. And that's why it's generally legal to have a prize for a contest, even when there's an entry fee, because it's not based on chance and therefore does not constitute a lottery. Lotteries are distinct from sweepstakes and raffles, which are illegal. Sweepstakes are games where a person is chosen randomly to win a prize, and sweepstakes participants do not give consideration to enter. Now, we'll talk more about this in a second, but the reason a sweepstakes is generally allowable in the context of buying something to enter is that there is an option to enter the same sweepstakes without a purchase necessary. And a raffle is an activity in which people buy tickets with different numbers, some of which are later chosen to win prizes, that's organized in order to make money for a good social purpose. And raffles are generally only legal when they're conducted by non-profits. So let's go back to the video that people are
Generally only legal when conducted by nonprofits, so that right there becomes a problem.
Claiming is an illegal lottery. During a 2020 live stream, the MrBeast crew sold limited edition t-shirts that cost $42. The sign in the background says, "Buy a shirt and I'll sign it."
For those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this.
So the parameters of the offer were that a fan buys an autographed t-shirt and they get the possibility of winning a prize. The winners were supposed to be chosen randomly at different intervals, but MrBeast changed the rules of the giveaway midstream.
They would say something.
That right there is a huge red flag to me. Can you imagine if I were to say, hypothetically, right? If I were to run a lottery, right? Raffle, whatever, right? And I was to have an event, right? Where I was doing something, going to give away something, whatever, right? And I said, anyone can submit a thing, but mid competition, I'm like, however, I'm going to add this little caveat, right? If you purchase something, you get extra consideration, you get bumped up, or your vote is weighted more heavily. I can't do that. Like, if I were to do that, I would absolutely be calling one of these days. I'm going to get a legal team or lawyer on retainer. Like, if nothing else, just to talk to them because they have really great insight. No, that's something you have to talk to legal about.
Like, buy in the next 5 minutes for a chance to win. And then 7 minutes later go, actually, the newest order in 30 seconds is going to win.
Dogpack says that during the 6-hour live stream, Mr.
Right.
Beast offered 46 illegal lotteries with a retail value of over $47,000.
Okay.
Now, typically when you review the terms and conditions of giveaway like this one, the first disclaimer you'll see is the statement, no purchase necessary. That's how you get around the lottery rules. You offer people a way to participate in the sweepstakes without having to purchase anything. Now, Mr. Beast's 6-hour live streams look a little sloppy. They're not like the Mr. Beast videos of today. The full video isn't available anymore, so we don't know whether there was a disclaimer in the video or in the description. But it does look like a purchase was required and there was no free way to enter. So in some jurisdictions, Mr. Beast probably would have been running an illegal lottery. And
at 40 million subscribers, he had to have lawyers and legal personnel on staff or in retainer, right? There's no way that he didn't know or didn't have the possibility of knowing, right? Like, there's no way.
If true, he probably wouldn't be alone. This was, frankly, pretty common on YouTube back in the day. And it's also common for YouTubers to get legal advice later after they become more successful. Remember, kids, talk to your lawyer early and often. We can often save you a ton of headache in the future. But not offering a free method of participation is a pitfall that I've seen a lot of YouTubers do when it comes to giveaways or bonuses. It's so common, in fact, that a very large YouTuber, Captain Sparkles, even admitted to doing the same thing while he was talking about this MrBeast situation.
I will admit to something here that may be past the statute of limitations, but the way that I found out about illegal lotteries to begin with is because I accidentally did one.
You know, if it were me, even if it were super common, I would not admit to breaking the law on camera. But, you know, you do you. That's more work for lawyers in the future.
It's so that even if statute of limitations has actually passed, that's one of those things that absolutely can become a headache later. And it also isn't a good look. I've heard nothing but positive things about Captain Sparkles. I don't know enough about them personally. They seem pretty legit. Just looking at it in the vacuum of the situation, probably one, not something you want to admit to. Two, it's okay to anonymize things where, due to the events around me, we ended up collectively understanding. We came to this understanding about legality and lotteries, right? I think that some of this might actually be perpetuated by, it's like how YouTube and copyright, there's that thing that floats around where you're allowed 7 seconds for fair use, which is not the case, especially when it comes to music. Look at Metallica v. Unfaith, where set huge precedent for the years after that case, right? Still dealing with that now in regards to music copyright. I could play 1 second of one by Metallica, and if Metallica did want to actually claim on that, they could claim the entire video. So, just something to consider. But yes, that is... that is an admission that could have potential stuff down the line that happens.
And a lot of private companies have gotten in trouble for doing the same kind of giveaway. The Department of Justice concluded that the Ironman Triathlon organization conducted an illegal lottery by charging athletes $50 for a chance to compete in its world championship. So the World Triathlon Corp, which runs Ironman, also encouraged people to pay an additional $50 to purchase memberships in a club that would increase their chances of getting into the championship race.
Right, yeah, and I don't know if that's entirely legal.
He didn't offer a refund to people whose entries weren't chosen and gave them no future credit towards registration for those that were chosen. And the company ran this promotion for decades, between 1983 and 2015. But as a result, the company agreed to forfeit the $2.76 million that they had collected and cease the lottery practice, though it denied any wrongdoing. Now, there is one more interesting wrinkle when it comes to MrBeast potentially engaging in illegal lottery. Now, we talked about the different elements of a lottery. You have to have the element of chance, there has to be a prize, but also the people looking to participate in the lottery have to offer consideration. Now, consideration for the purposes of lotteries is often construed narrowly. It does not need to include money. If a person has to make an effort to register, this can constitute consideration under the law. So for example, if you pay $42 for a t-shirt in exchange for the chance to win a prize, you've definitely provided consideration. And likewise, if you have to complete a long survey or make several trips to the store, many regulatory authorities also say that you've made a significant effort to get into a lottery. But not everything qualifies as consideration. If you mail a postcard to enter into a contest, the 50-cent postage does not count as consideration in most jurisdictions. So in another one of MrBeast's giveaways, he purchased 1,000 Samsung phones and gave them away randomly to people who subscribed to his channel. Now, whether this is an illegal lottery or a legal sweepstakes depends on whether the state law construes subscribing to the channel as consideration. Now,
I mean, that is true. Could it be considered trivial though, right? If you are an action being trivial versus an action being considered consideration, right? I could definitely see that being an argument where having to mail in a postcard to buy a stamp for postage, right? No, it's not necessarily consideration, right? Subscribing to the channel, is that necessarily consideration? Having to, like other channels have done, right? We need you to like this video, subscribe, comment down in the description this specific thing, and then you're entered, right? That could be seen as a lot more effort than, say, subscribing or sending in a postcard. So is that consideration, right? It comes down to then the legal definition of what consideration is and what all it entails, any relevant caveats, subsections it may have. Like, I like talking about this stuff, and this is why when people start talking legal, especially when I worked in finance, and people were like, "Oh, well, I'll just sue you, right? I'll talk to my lawyer." Cool, have a nice day, Karen. Click. Okay. People need to understand when you start talking about legal, you are talking about serious stuff, okay? Like serious. We have rolled initiative for combat at that point, right? And at that point, if, say, random chat member, Kip, I'm going to sue you. Cool. I need to, at that point, I could cease all communications, and then I wait for you and your legal team to, send me cease and desist letter, whatever, right? At that point, we are done.
North Carolina, where MrBeast is based, if the promotion includes a purchase, payment, or substantial effort, and it's a game of chance resulting in a prize, then it's likely an illegal lottery. If it's non-monetary consideration, the person would have to make a, quote, substantial degree of effort for it to be considered consideration. In the past, substantial effort examples include attending an all-day sales presentation or going to a scavenger hunt. But simply watching a TV program or visiting a location one time was not considered substantial effort in North Carolina. So
substantial effort, yes. This is what I was trying to actually get at, and this actually puts it into the terms, right? Subscribing versus subscribing, liking, commenting a specific thing, right? Degree of efforts, right? You could argue that me, I'm subscribing to LegalEagle, wink, wink. I don't like notifications, but I'm hitting the bell, right? I'm liking the video, right? Right here. Is that necessarily consideration? I would argue that there's not really much effort put into that. But if I had to do this, and say I was trying to enter for a sweepstake and I had to type an entire, paragraph, essay, thesis, whatever on it, right? Maybe that would probably be considered consideration in a lot of cases. It just depends. It's also state to state, it sounds like.
You could definitely see a North Carolina court saying that simply pressing the subscribe button does not qualify as a substantial effort necessary to make it consideration. Now, what makes this situation even more complicated is that sometimes MrBeast videos contain both a contest and a sweepstakes. So take, for example, the video 100 Boys versus 100 Girls for $500,000. Here are the rules.
I built 2 massive circles and put 100 boys in one and 100 girls in the other. And whichever circle has more people after 100 hours wins $500,000.
So if any player steps on the red line, they're eliminated from the game. And during the 100 hours, MrBeast tempted the players with various offers, like giving one of the guys $10,000 for solving a Rubik's Cube.
We're gonna offer the one guy in there that knows how to solve them $10,000 to leave right now.
He also offered the girls a free car if they agreed to leave.
If Chris scratches it, it's coming with it. You don't have to get out, but whenever you do, your brand new car's right there.
Now that video was sponsored by a company called Current, and that company offered a separate sweepstakes. Now it looks like by the time of this video, which comes 2 years later, MrBeast either lawyered up or learned his lesson, because it seems like he knew what he was doing in this particular video, because this video allows participation in the sweepstakes without purchase.
But that being said, this is 2 years ago, is it not, right? So clearly anything after that, I would personally dismiss, right? Because clearly you know what you're doing. Clearly he knows what he's doing, right? There is now precedent that he either has a legal team, has legal advisors, has enough legal cognizance, or something to that effect, in which this is a non-issue, right? At least from what this seems. You see how now that precedent, and if there's a later incident, that precedent says, no, you knew what you're doing. You clearly have ability and cognizance here.
The description reads, no purchase or payment necessary to enter or win. void outside the US, and where prohibited, etc., more legalese. So the contestants, the viewers, did not have to join Current, the video sponsor, to enter into that particular sweepstakes. It links to other terms and conditions, and people had an opportunity to review the official rules to determine how the prize would be allocated. So it looks like sometime in the last 4 years, MrBeast got his act together and started complying with anti-lottery rules. Now, obviously, if you're running an illegal lottery, you'll want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm, the Eagle team, can help. If you've suffered a data breach, especially if you got a letter saying that your social security number had been leaked, if you were involved in a car crash or have an immigration issue or just about anything else, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. Because it's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so you maximize your recovery and find out what your options are. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle team. So click on the link below. But many are conflating the old video of MrBeast offering a prize for buying a t-shirt, which arguably does constitute a lottery, with all MrBeast videos that happen to involve prizes in general. But these are
Ollie in chat, we were meeting with a few other law firms. One of the analogies used to describe these kinds of cases is a lot like kitchen cross-contamination. If you have a raw product in close proximity to cooked product, you contaminate everything for a lengthy period, especially because I have food service experience. That makes a lot of sense. Like... Yeah, this is going to get messy really quick. For like clarification, I have watched one MrBeast video. It was the island one, I think. And I think I have a reaction to it. His content just isn't my thing. It's kind of one of those things. It's like, I recognize that they exist. I get that it's big, but it's like, I haven't watched like Jacksepticeye. I haven't watched... trying to think of someone else offhand. But you get my point, right? It's like, cool, they exist. It just hasn't been my thing. So hearing about this, I'm having to retroactively learn a lot about the situation.
Very different situations, and the analysis is different too. MrBeast is known for giving subscribers a chance to take part in his videos. And Dogpack takes issue with this, arguing that, quote,
So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to MrBeast, and oftentimes friends and family of MrBeast employees,
right,
or just the employees themselves.
And he highlighted some specific videos he says backs up his claims, specifically the video Boys vs. Girls for $500,000. He says the whole thing was rigged because the contestants weren't random subscribers.
Let's look at this video. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers.
So that's a problem because you're misrepresenting the product for all intents and purposes, right? Like, if I were to make a video, right, and I were to say, make a video on, I don't know, Blazer 9mm ammunition, right? And it's like, you know, and I'm trying to go through how it works, but instead of Blazer, I use some other brand, right, to get a certain narrative across. Like, you see how that just completely defeats the purpose, right? If you represent a video as all random chance, but you don't effectively roll a random number generator, or you have no actual true way of randomization, and you're just picking from a pool or potential employees, you see how that can contaminate the final product there? Like, yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, you've just contaminated your product. And thus, it also sets precedent. Are you actually telling the truth? And that is a big thing that's coming into question. The credibility and, I guess, brand integrity of MrBeast right now is what is being called into question. And this is huge, okay? A lot of people look up to MrBeast. There's a couple things, and I've said in other React videos as well. I think I watched, I don't know if it was a Mudahar video or not, but MrBeast does have some interesting insights, right? Such as, I think he said something along the lines of, the day of just turning on your camera and streaming, say, Minecraft and just, you know, going at it is over. It's over for all intents and purposes. You have to have some kind of thing there. Maybe it wasn't MrBeast who said it. I think it was someone else analyzing it, or maybe they interviewed MrBeast. Anyways, but the point being, the actual core point here is, if I wanted to say make successful content, right? It's not, I'm going to turn on I'm going to turn on my, you know, VTuber camera, right? I'm going to, you know, turn on Resident Evil 5 and just run through the campaign. What if I were to turn on my camera, go through Resident Evil 5's campaign with a challenge, say, professional pistol M92 only, right? And then I make that into a bit, right? And maybe I can throw arbitrary challenges throughout, like, man, these Lers, because you can't actually say Lickers on Twitch, or it's not Twitch, YouTube. Thank you, Roanoke Gaming, for finding that one out. I'm sorry you had to be subject to that, because YouTube. The Lickers, right? Well, we're not going to use the knife to take care of them, right? We're only using the M92, right? And then you can see how that builds intrigue. People want to know. People want to understand. He has great insights. What's coming in now is contamination, ethics, integrity. All of these are now becoming suspects.
Many people had jobs.
Oh, that contestant had to get out for her job? I guess you forgot she's your hiring manager. I actually
Nice.
recognize a lot of people in this video, including Jimmy's own girlfriend.
Chucky
That's
Appleby
wild.
acknowledged that some of the players were friends or employees. Quote, the employees in the video were there to fill in for people who tested positive for COVID last minute right before filming. Thea, Jimmy's girlfriend, mentioned this on a podcast over a year ago. If it wasn't for COVID, they would not have been in it. They had the same money on the line as everyone else.
So how do you legally get around this, I guess? Like, how do you legally address that? If there is a special exception, say the virus, right? When is appropriate and how is appropriate to disclose that information? Do you do it in the description? Do you do it in a podcast over a year ago, like after the fact at some point? I feel like that should be in a product that you are claiming is completely random. And maybe you could randomly pick your employees. I guess then you could argue potentially some legitimacy in regards of random chance, right? And finding replacements reasonably, right? Reasonable exception. But there has to be a correct way or correct ways to do this that protect you legally. Maybe not from a public opinion standpoint, but from a legal standpoint, right? Because they're not the same, right? There's a lot of people with misconceptions about copyright in general, and that's not how that works, right? If I am going to, I don't know, stream Fallout New Vegas, which I've done, right? And I have a big record company saying, we own that music, filing a copyright claim on you. First of all, thank you for not filing a strike. I do appreciate that. Second, I would appreciate you actually sending me legal documentation that you own it, because at that point, then I just shut up, because I'm like, cool, nope, they have the paperwork, they have the copyright, I'm good. But like, if I were to say I own, right, hypothetically own this, I don't. Even if it's gameplay, even if it's, a 10-plus-year-old Bethesda game, I don't own that. And that's an important distinction as well, where if I play a game, even if I own the copy, and I'm talking like Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the GameCube, right? Actual disc. I own this, not, having a key to access the game on Steam, GOG, Epic, etc., right? I don't own the game. And I think that, legally it comes down to ownership and authorship, which are two different things, right? I can own a disc. I do not own the content. Pokemon Company has that authorship, right? And I'm sure there's more actual legal terms and descriptors that work far better, and I'm very interested in hearing about those. But that is important to have as a discussion. Is ownership authorship? Are the two often conflated where they should not be conflated? These are things I think about.
And Dogpack also said that he received text messages from another Beast worker who said they had to rig the game so that the boys didn't win by so much.
According to a former MrBeast employee, it would have been a PR problem if the boys had won by a lot. And because so many of the female contestants were MrBeast employees who got out immediately, production stepped in to actually make the results of the challenge closer.
Now, there's absolutely nothing illegal about using friends or acquaintances in your videos.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily follow that just because MrBeast might have known some of the people who appeared in his videos, that he rigged the videos in their favor. Now, your mileage may vary as to whether it's a good or bad look to include friends in videos where there's money on the line.
Right.
Now, arguably, you might conclude that if the video makes it appear that every contestant is random, and it turns out that that's not the case, then it makes it more likely that the outcome is rigged in their favor. MrBeast, after all, might want to patronize his friends. But you might also conclude that there is no connection between the identity of the contestants and the outcome. Now, I haven't reviewed every single MrBeast video. I have a life. Personally, I think this is
Oh, God, I love this man.
probably closer to the truth, but I can see how people might feel deceived. And as it happens, I happen to know several people who have appeared in MrBeast videos. Again, because he needed someone to fill in at the last second, and they happen to be nearby.
Right.
In fact, you might know them, Dave the Agent and Patrick Willems. And I can tell you, the video was not rigged in their favor at all. They happened to be taking a tour of MrBeast's facilities and got pegged to fill in at the last moment to put an entire GameStop inside of a triangle. They actually succeeded, and they've told me that everyone was shocked that they were able to do it.
Everyone's gotta let go at the same time. 3, 2, 1, everyone let go. Everyone let go. No one touching it?
way.
No one. Oh, congratulations!
I love it.
It was definitely not rigged or predetermined. Now, I can't
So what is this? It counts as what, secondhand citation? Because if these individuals were stating it themselves, that's firsthand account, firsthand citation, right? This would be a secondhand account, so kind of like tier 2 citation. Still fairly reliable. It's not like, oh, I read on Reddit that this guy was part of this, and they said that they were shocked that they were able to do it. It was not rigged, right? Grats, cool. You found this post on Reddit or Twitter, right? Well, X technically, right? But this holds more weight, right, is what I'm trying to get across. This holds more weight. Technically less weight than if the individuals themselves said it, but considering the circumstances, this should be treated as, kind of that second tier, but pretty much there, especially if the individuals mentioned corroborate this.
Speak to all of MrBeast's videos, but in at least one instance where he knew the contestants, the video was certainly not rigged. And I do know that logistically, since many of MrBeast's videos are filmed in his hometown of Greenville, North Carolina, it's often hard to fill all of the spots for his videos. And
Thus, this comes down to the definition: what is random? What does it mean by random chance, random participants? What is reasonable exception? What isn't reasonable exception? Especially when you have a event such as the virus, right? I mean, what is and isn't reasonable? We're still suffering impacts across many industries, not just from the virus, but 2008, right? How many lumber mills got closed down after 2008 in the US, right? A lot, right? I've had it thrown somewhere like 2/3 were shut down. I don't have any verification on that. But the point remains is that big events have big consequences. And if you have a production that you have to put on, reasonable exception needs to be looked at.
I also know that MrBeast and his team invest in hundreds or thousands of cameras, producers, and video editors to be able to record and cull through thousands of hours of footage for his videos. And my feeling is that MrBeast will do whatever is possible to make the most engaging and entertaining video possible.
Right.
But I certainly can't speak to every video he's ever made, nor can I speak to the audience expectations of the videos that he does make. But let's say that the videos were rigged, completely manipulated, and predetermined. Would that be illegal? Dogpack alleges that MrBeast rigged the game so that the boys didn't win by so much. MrBeast changed the rules or offered different challenges throughout the 100 hours. At one point, he says he wanted to make the game more competitive by trying to introduce more boys to drop out. And in one sense, duh, this is a MrBeast video. He makes various offers and changes the rules to make things more entertaining.
Right.
He manipulates the events to add drama, much like any game show where things occur to make things interesting.
Right.
But here, let's make a distinction. There are the rules as laid out to the contestants before they participate, and the rules as laid out in the video. Now, you can imagine that the contract between the contestant and, I don't know, Beast Enterprises lays out certain terms for the relationship.
Sure.
Now, I've never seen one of those contracts. My guess is that it gives Beast Enterprises quite a lot of flexibility to deal with the contestant. But if they...
It's really interesting because contracts themselves can come under fire as well. If a contract says that you're under, say, an NDA, right? But if a illegal act is committed under NDA, that NDA can be null and void. Obviously, this isn't going to be the case for everything. And then obviously, have legality, being able to prove it isn't illegal, being able to have a case for it, right? But yeah, it's why, if you say are working at a funeral home, right? And say the funeral home is swapping bodies and doing some pretty unethical stuff, right? You're not necessarily going to be held under an NDA, or potentially could not be held under an NDA. And at that point, I would recommend honestly seeking some sort of legal counsel or legal assistance, right? To be able to determine what is the best course of action, right? I can't really advise if you're under an NDA to break it, whether that's going to be federal, military, from a company standpoint, right? Worked in games testing, right? I don't know what I am and am not under NDA for. Getting my paperwork is tried, is proven just a task that's just far worth more effort than it is, right? Working at a financial institution, I'm not under an NDA from the institution, but I'm under federal regulations, right? I can't tell you who I've worked with. I can't tell you what accounts I've serviced. I can't tell you individuals. Rightfully so, right? There's a reason we have these restrictions.
Breach those terms, then they might be liable for breach of contract or maybe even fraud.
Yes.
And then there are the terms that show up in the final video after the filming. Those might not be the same. Now, whether you're allowed to change the rules in the video largely depends on how much freedom you have in the rules in your contract with the contestant. Now, remember this because we'll come back to it in a second. Now, following up on the allegations from Dogpack, YouTuber Upper Echelon claimed that MrBeast videos are just flat out illegal. For example, Rosanna Pansino was featured in a MrBeast competition series called Creator Games, which pits YouTube personalities against each other in games like hide and seek. She claimed that MrBeast selectively edited the video to make it appear that she did not finish in the top 3, and instead they made it look like Logan Paul did finish in the top 3.
Survivor, despite being mentioned.
Bro, Logan Paul has to get the handout. Oh my god, dude. No way. Bro, is this true? Because that's really funny if it is. Bro has to get the handout, soccer pat on the ass to actually look better. Bro, this is so funny considering what he's doing recently. Oh my god. Oh, if that's true, that is some spice.
By this alleged former employee in passing, has a particularly relevant lawsuit brought forward by a contestant of season 1, where she alleges that producers of the show engaged in a scheme to prearrange outcomes by persuading, influencing, or intimidating contestants.
And she claimed that MrBeast changed the rules. Originally, they were told they couldn't hide in the ceiling, but the winner was allowed to hide in the ceiling.
That's
Now, Upper Echelon
messed
claims
up.
that MrBeast did exactly the same thing that landed the TV show Survivor in legal hot water.
47 USC 509, which pertains to, quote, prohibited practices in contests of knowledge, skill, or chance.
Now, whether you think it's a good idea to use clever editing or manipulating the rules to change the outcome is not the same thing as necessarily being against the law. But Upper Echelon points to a
Right.
lawsuit by Season 1 Survivor contestant Stacey Stillman, who was the third person ever voted off the series.
Well, the weather has spoken, and the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
However, she later alleged that the show creator Mark Burnett actually orchestrated her demise. She claims that Burnett intervened in the game by convincing two of her teammates to vote her off the island rather than a contestant who had been a fan favorite, Rudy Bosch. Bosch was a gruff former Navy SEAL who was quick with one-liners.
The only reason I'd bring a Bible is I'm religious too, if I needed toilet paper.
Burnett allegedly believed that Rudy was better for ratings than Stillman, and Bosch later placed third in the game. Stillman is a lawyer, so she sued for fraud, breach of contract, and unlawful business practices
Okay. What
in
was the
violation of California Business and Professions Code 17200, with the predicate being 47 USC 509. Now, the
Okay.
parties settled before trial, as
settled before trial, and that could potentially dodge any sort of precedent, right? I mean, at most you could say that this was brought to trial, which clearly he was able to cite what it was, right? But if the suit actually didn't go through, I mean, it could be hard to find any actual set precedent to continue with.
most lawsuits do. But the interesting thing about Stillman's complaint is that she claimed that Burnett violated 47 USC 509, which is a federal law that regulates contests that are run by TV and radio broadcasters and their sponsors. It says it shall be unlawful for any person with intent to deceive the listening or viewing public to supply any contestant in a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge or intellectual skill, any special and secret assistance whereby the outcome of such contest will be in whole or in part prearranged or predetermined.
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense. So, yeah, if it is a contest, if it's an intellectual contest or a contest of skill, right? If you're doing a contest, you know, MrBeast style, right? And you were to give parties bonus help, right? Secretive bonus help. Oh, by the way, we had this secret rule which you could say hide in the ceiling. Not very specifically, not saying what MrBeast is doing is illegal, right? I have yet to have facts presented to me in which I could say that without any sort of allegedly, potentially, etc. in front of that, right? Predicating that. Yeah, so if I ran a contest, if I said, hey, everyone in this chat, we're going to have a contest, right? We're going to go survive out in the wilderness for a month, right? And, you know, if I were to give some, I don't know, someone who isn't a U.S. Marine, U.S. Navy, right, personnel, right, if I was to give them some bonus assistance, like I gave them some extra food rations and stuff, you could argue that I'm rigging the competition, right? So we'll put it on me specifically. If I were to do that, at the very least, I'm being disingenuous. I am not following this rule, right? Sure, I could be trying to, you know, tweak things for ratings and stuff, but is that ethical and is that legal? I would argue the answer to both is no.
By means of persuasion, bribery, intimidation, or otherwise, to induce or cause any contestant in a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge or intellectual skill to refrain in any manner from using or displaying his knowledge or skill in such contest, whereby the outcome thereof will be in whole or in part predetermined or prearranged. Or
if you use your military survival training to win this competition, I won't pay you out. Right? See how that's a little scummy?
3, to engage in any artifice or scheme for the purpose of prearranging or predetermining in whole or in part the outcome of a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge, intellectual skill, or chance. This is the
I need to read that last one over again. That was a lot of words. So the purpose of prearranging or predetermining in whole or part the outcome of a bona fide contest, intellectual knowledge, intellectual skill, or chance. Yeah, don't rig your game, effectively. If I have to read through that, and I were to summarize that in a single simple sentence with a little, like, you know, asterisk after that for, you know, lawyers to discuss and legal personnel to like, oh yeah, there's stuff I can add to that. Don't rig your contests, okay? Don't intimidate others. Don't mess with the things.
This is the basis for the FCC's contest rule, which provides that it's illegal to predetermine or prearrange the outcome of a contest or to broadcast a predetermined or prearranged contest.
Okay.
It stems from a series of quiz shows in the 1950s that were absolutely rigged. And in fact, there's a great Ray Fiennes movie about this particular situation.
Oh,
the
nice.
FCC requires broadcasters to disclose rules and policies applicable to their contests, including the method of entry, eligibility restrictions, entry deadlines, prize
Right.
restrictions, winner selection procedures, and the value of the prize.
So at that point, does protected statuses become a thing, right? So if you were to say, I don't know, this contest is only open to males and non-binary personnel, but you're clearly omitting women, gender is a protected status. But I know in the workplace that's really what matters, right? So if your employer denies you a promotion on the premise that you are an woman, right? That is a protected status. That's generally a pretty big no-no, right? Now, if they were to deny you and say, well, unfortunately, you haven't been showing up to work lately, okay, that's performance. However, if it's, well, you haven't been showing up to work lately, my brother in Kaiser, I'm going through a pregnancy right now, okay? That you see where protected status get involved here. I wonder if protected status goes hand in hand with this, or if that is a completely separate thing and not applicable here. That'd be very interesting to look into.
And after analyzing the statute, Upper Echelon points to a situation in the Boys vs. Girls video that he claims runs afoul. In particular, he points to a situation where MrBeast tried to coax one of the boys who knew how to solve a Rubik's Cube from leaving the contest to make it more fair to the other contestants who did not know how to solve a Rubik's Cube in the Rubik's Cubes challenge.
I can't personally say at what specific point in time a creator who owns a media company that is 10 or 20 times larger and more successful than mainstream broadcast television networks becomes liable under those same rules.
So yeah, seems like manipulation may be in the service of predetermining the outcome. But the FCC does not regulate radio or television that is not broadcast over the airwaves. It's...
Okay, right. No, this becomes the copyright argument where our DMCA is a fossil, okay? We need one good court case to change it. But that also comes with, if the case goes the wrong way, suddenly we have precedent, and suddenly we have a new system that we can't guarantee is going to be better than the old system, right? There are certain things, I think it was... there was something someone was talking about recently. I think it was Ali in chat. He was talking about something being predicated on, like, real estate law in, like, the 70s or 80s. I think it was 79 specifically. Yeah, no, that becomes a very important talking point and a very important oversight because of how YouTube and Twitch have gone. Which means, and this could set precedent, if, say, MrBeast was found guilty on all accounts, right? Hypothetically, and this were to win, would that mean that the FCC would now have no power over anything not on airwaves? Or could someone seek to... I'm assuming at that point you have to actually sign that into law. I don't know how that actually works. I'm gonna be completely honest. Safe harbor laws. Well, because YouTube's a safe harbor law, right? As long if I were to this video right now, LegalEagle took the time out of his day to make this video, right? And if LegalEagle deemed that this was not transformative enough, if deemed that, he did not want this up, this is in fact his content that I'm reacting to, he has every legal right to say, look, you're not being transformative enough, okay? You're just using the whole video, right? And he can file that. And at that point, it is YouTube receiving the copyright strike, whatever, right? And they have to act on that, right? If I was to upload the entirety of Avengers Endgame, right? Disney is going to go, hey, cool, we're going to send this to you. Stop that, please. And then YouTube receives it, goes, hey, we have received a notice of this. Here you go, Kip. This is what you're going to do with this. Or this is what's going to happen, right? Which then becomes an issue with YouTube because then you have, people from South America claiming my stuff, actually. And then it ends up falling off when I have counterclaimed it. But that leads into the downside of the safe harbor. Safe harbor being necessarily evil here because you can have fraudulent claimants send stuff through. And even if you counter it and it gets, you win that, you can't go after the claimant that filed that, even if it's a fraudulent claimant. I think that's a huge oversight in the system. But once again, there's not really anything that's going to be able to shift that for the foreseeable future.
Website even says the FCC does not regulate online content. The reason for this is the First Amendment. You're generally allowed to produce whatever kind of TV show you want or YouTube video that you want. Right. It was thought, and still is, that when it came to shows that were broadcast over the air before cable TV or largely the internet, because that was a limited resource, the argument went, the government had more say over what could be broadcast. That's why there's always been so much more cursing and nudity on HBO and not NBC. HBO has never been regulated by the FCC. It might be hard to believe, but there was a time when there were only a handful, 3 TV stations, and you needed an antenna to be able to receive them. Luckily, we have evolved from this barbarity. So
Yeah.
Upper Echelon's video incorrectly claims that MrBeast's video ran afoul of this law cited in the Stillman complaint, 47 U.S.C. 509, prohibited practices in contests of knowledge, skill, or chance.
Which deceived the audience, fulfilling basically every single part of this law at one time or another, from what I can tell, in my opinion, to the very letter.
Yeah, that's just...
So, and that's the thing, though, is now having said that in citing this incorrectly from what it seems, does that open up Upper Echelon to slander and libel, right? Being guilty of that. It could hypothetically. I don't know what the interaction is going to be there. I mean, I would assume MrBeast, someone representative or on behalf of MrBeast would have to file something. And then obviously that would, legal personnel would have to get involved. And then they would probably go from there. So interesting.
It's wrong. The law does not apply to satellite radio, the internet, or cable. Now, I don't mean to cast aspersions on this YouTuber. He's upfront about the fact that he's not a lawyer.
Right.
But this is what often makes the law so difficult. You can...
I'm not a financial advisor. Go buy $10,000 of Kip coin. Kip, you have predicated that sentence with you're not a financial advisor, but you also just gave financial advice, right? To clarify, there is no such thing as Kip coin. Okay, if there is ever a Kip coin, it's not going to be me. Like, no, I don't do crypto. But that being said, right, I can say something such as I am not a financial advisor. I cannot legally give financial advice. Proceeds to say thing, and I still could be found guilty. I could be found guilty of giving financial advice, even predicating it with not. Passed the DMCA, Congress intended to strike a balance between encouraging experimental technology and protecting copyright holders from infringement online. Congress thus decided to leave current law in its evolving state, but add to this law a series of safe harbor provisions, including ISPs, with limited liability in certain instances. As a result, the common law principles is far too outdated. Yeah, no, there needs to be some current iteration on DMC specifically. Interesting.
Find something that looks like it applies, but it's wildly out of context and is basically irrelevant. That's why people need lawyers.
Yes.
Now, ironically, a commenter to this video who claims to be a lawyer chimed in to proclaim that, quote, those laws do in fact apply to YouTube as well. I've actually dealt with it personally, and it doesn't end well for the accused.
Okay, do we have any sort... I don't even know if you could cite a case for that, though. I guess it depends if the case is public, if it's settled, ongoing. Like, that's... If that is the case, that would set precedent. What? Like, we need some sources there, Captain.
This person later says they've been a lawyer for all of 7 months and, quote, I've already seen so many cases and it's sick. Now, I saw this and it took a second. Was I wrong? Did I learn nothing in law school? That really doesn't seem accurate in the context of the US.
Okay.
Then I kept reading the comments from this lawyer.
Okay.
It's universal. All the ground need to follow is that it was broadcast live. There are exceptions, but this is pretty clear. At least that's how it stands in Canada.
Which is a different jurisdiction.
Oh. Okay. This is why you don't trust randos on the internet, especially when they claim to be lawyers. Absolutely nothing this person says is true. Maybe that's the law in Canada, but not here. This law does not apply to YouTubers because they stream over the internet. It just doesn't apply. And in any event, the Stillman lawsuit settled, so we don't even know how a jury would have found, and it appears that the FCC never even investigated Survivor for the 509 violation based on her claims. And I don't want to belabor the point, but arguably the terms of the law might not even apply. It's not clear that the manipulating the activities of a contest would necessarily count as predetermining the outcome, and it's not clear that the various contests or games of skill or intellect that would be covered anyway. And often there's nothing secretive about what MrBeast is doing in the video contest. He says what he's going to do, and then he does it. As you probably know, game shows often change the stakes all the time, even on broadcast television.
Right.
Now, whether any of the contestants have a claim for breach of contract or fraud depends on what was in their contract before they agreed to appear in a MrBeast video. Now, I don't know the terms, so I can't say, but I'd be shocked if they didn't give MrBeast and Beast Enterprises a huge amount of freedom in what they can do or not do during the video. And furthermore, that would be a civil claim of the contestant versus Beast Enterprises. It's not a law that is broken. Maybe it's pedantic, but it's not illegal to breach a contract anyway. Now, ironically, it might be Dogpack 404 who's in hot legal water. MrBeast's lawyers have sent 2 cease and desist letters to the ex-worker. The letters allege...
Okay, so I've actually seen this image. I this is odd to me that this is one addressed to just Dogpack 404 and not the individual behind it. Two, I'm a little confused why we have an emoji in there. Maybe I'm just uptight, anal retentive, like old school. It feels like that takes away some professionality, if that makes sense. So I look at this and I kind of actually just write it off a little bit, because like turn in a college paper or a high school paper, right? And put like a smiley face or a winky face sticker on it. Does that like the Dogpack out of the emoji? Okay, so I'm in the wrong there. So thank you for correcting me on that. Okay, because if that was actually sent, because the line looks like it's actually on there. So I'm going to take that L. See? I like being wrong, so I can learn. Protects his privacy. Okay, so that's why the black bar. Okay, anyways, so then this would be, I've seen this. If this is official, this is interesting.
That his statements are defamatory and violate his confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. Now, generally, I hate these kind of strong-arm tactics to silence critics. This is exactly what Logan Paul is currently doing with CoffeeZilla. But the situation might be theoretically different from a legal perspective. This isn't just some critical third party, but a person who was an employee. They had a direct contractual relationship with MrBeast. So the contract terms will be just as important as the general law on defamation. Now, as you probably know, a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, is a legal contract between at least two parties that outlines confidential material, knowledge, or information that the parties wish to share with each other for certain purposes, but want to restrict from wider access.
So here's the thing. If you're under NDA, if you're under military operational security, OPSEC, I don't need to know, okay? I've had people want to share things with me, but they've said, hey, I'm currently working on something, or hey, I can neither confirm or not deny this, such as, say, OP Rock in a Mr. Ballin video that we watched, right? Can either confirm or deny anything about OP Rock, right? Don't tell me. I don't need to know. Unfortunately, yeah, exactly. Ali, right, has potentially can either confirm or deny maybe something to do with a legal case. We can either confirm or deny it, nor is it really any of my or anyone else's business, right? And I think that respecting NDAs and OPSEC, I think that a lot more people should be doing that, right? It just is, one, a courtesy, and two, as a just cognizant thing. If you are, and I actually did have to do a little bit of research into this, if you are military, prior military, active military, if you are military and you're under OPSEC and you do have to discuss something, so say, for example, something happened that you're under OPSEC for, and it is an issue, say it's giving you nightmares, trauma, PTSD, etc., the way that I understand that is that you should go to whatever commanding officer you have, and I think the chaplain is a safe bet as well. There are avenues if you're under OPSEC and you do have to discuss something like that you are under operational security for. You do have avenues. Wanted to signal boost that because that was actually a cool thing that I had to have a discussion and learn about.
The NDA essentially creates a confidential relationship between the parties to protect information covered by the NDA. Right. And usually that's any type of confidential or proprietary information or trade secrets. In this video, YouTuber Some Ordinary Gamer explained the purpose of an NDA.
I hired you at our company, right? And I told you a secret about, something we're doing a month from now, a production that we have coming out in the next 2-3 months. If we hired you to be the editor for that video, and we had told you, hey, don't leak any of this at all, not a single ounce of footage. We want this for you to edit, we want you to put these videos together, and we want you to, basically have these ready to go up on our actual collaborative channel. If you decided to leak that footage, it would be well within our right to take you to court.
Now, Mudahar is right that a company could sue a person who violated an NDA by disclosing things about that production if those things are within the scope of the NDA. And
let's say that I worked on Titanfall 3. Let's say hypothetically, or there was a Titanfall 3, right? And let's say, I don't know, Kip potentially worked on a Titanfall 3 disclosure. No, that was not what I worked on. Not telling you what I worked on. I don't know where that NDA ends. But, say I work in game testing, and I'm working, as a tester, as a modeler, as design for Titanfall 3. And I say, and I let slip, oh yeah, no, I'm working on Project T3, Titanfall 3, right? EA is going to go, whoa, excuse you, or whatever studio is working on it, right? And they are really going to go after me at that point. This is why the Disney thing recently is so funny to me, because, he was upper... What was he? He was upper management for cybersecurity or something. Mudahar did a video on it. And he got a game mod, a mod for a video game. And that gave people access to 1.1 terabytes of Disney stuff. Bro. Mudahar, Somewhere Near Gamers, which he just mentioned, does have a video up on that. I would definitely recommend go checking that out. So that is like, there's so many stupid things that are wrong with that situation, first off. But like, yeah, if you're working on something and you leak that, or it gets leaked, like you're in some hot water, okay? NDAs are serious.
Generally right that an NDA cannot compel a person not to disclose a crime. If an NDA attempts to prevent someone from reporting illegal activities, the NDA might be considered void if it violates public policy. However, what constitutes a violation of public policy varies substantially according to the jurisdiction. Some states
This is what I was talking about with an NDA, right? An NDA, if you're being told to do something illegal under an NDA, you could potentially tell somebody and not violate the NDA, or the NDA could be null and void. I'm not saying it is null and void. That's why I said very specifically, seek legal counsel, seek a lawyer, discuss the situation.
Have adopted laws that strike non-disclosure provisions, which prohibit employees from disclosing unlawful employment practices such as discrimination, harassment, or fraud. North Carolina, where MrBeast is based, has not adopted such a law. The issue really becomes whether Dogpack witnessed anything that would be against public policy in the state that governs the NDA. So while it's true that NDAs generally cannot be used to conceal illegal activities, the person really has to have evidence of at least an illegal activity that would be considered against public policy to have an NDA against. And it doesn't seem like Dogpack has made any statements of witnessing anything firsthand that MrBeast did anything that was against the law. And now MrBeast's lawyers have sent 2 cease and desist letters to Dogpack. He appeared on Oompaville's show and declared that he isn't scared.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel nervous? I would be shitting myself if I were you.
No, I'm not shitting myself.
Now, generally, I would agree. A cease and desist letter doesn't mean anything except the sender wants you to stop.
Yeah, cease and desist. Hey, stop that. Knock it off. If if I were to, if I were to react to LegalEagle, right? And LegalEagle sent me a cease and desist, right? I'd have to read through it, obviously, but effectively, Kip, stop that, right? Which I'm sure there are plenty of other options. And anytime I react to somebody, I make it clear that I have an open door policy. I understand that I'm totally small. I understand that. If somebody doesn't want me reacting to their stuff, if they think I'm not being transformative enough, I'm open to that dialogue, right? So whether that's going to be filing a copyright claim, whether that's, LegalEagle, someone I represent, on behalf of or representing LegalEagle saying, hey, Kip, please take that down, right? Yeah, I'll comply with that. It's no different than if any other creator did. I open that dialogue myself. I lost my point where I was going with that. But yeah, no, cease and desist. Hey, stop that is effectively what that comes down to. But definitely one of those pieces of papers that I'm like, yeah, what could follow this though?
But if he did disclose information that was covered by the NDA, then he could be in trouble. Now, it would be a breach of contract claim. So it's not against the law to violate your NDA, but it does mean you can be sued civilly for a breach of contract. And there's no doubt that he's causing MrBeast reputational harm. Whether that's warranted is up to you. But the NDA could also contain a non-disparagement clause. A non-disparagement clause prevents a signatory from disparaging the other party for a certain amount of time, even if the things that they say are true or non-confidential. This clause is meant to stop the parties from making public or private comments that could harm the reputation or business interests of the other party. Especially in a situation like this where the person can truthfully say that they were an employee for a limited amount of time to add authority to their claims. Now, disparagement is not the same as defamation. Defamation generally only applies when these statements are false. Disparagement just means saying something negative about the other person, even if it's 100% correct. So if Dogpack's NDA has a non-disparagement clause that's still in effect, he could be in a lot of trouble because he's been doing a lot of disparaging, even if you assume that everything he says is 100% true. Now, Dogpack redacted the name of the law firm in
non-disparagement clauses. I want to know what the perception on those is. I wonder what the ethical perception is on that. Like, that's actually super interesting. I mean, it's a completely different thing, but it's reminiscent of like a non-compete clause, at least to me, right? A dingus on the internet, right? Non-compete clause, I happen to have knowledge of company X, right? But if I can't go over to company Y because there's a non-compete clause, meaning that I can't take my skill set over to company Y, even if company Y would pay me better, right? Like a non-disparagement, like being able to be like, yeah, this dude was a POS, right? Just generalized dude, right? Dude was a POS when I worked for him, right? But you could have something in the contract that you're not allowed to do that, even if the dude, I don't know, smacked you across the face, right? And I wonder, does non-disparagement clauses, would they potentially interrupt legal matters? So say John Doe smacks the employee, right? Clearly battery, right? Assault in some capacity, right? And if there's a non-disparagement clause, could that prevent a lawsuit from taking place or prevent, say, authorities from being called on the situation? I'm sure there's exit clauses for that. I'm sure that there would be something that, like, I'm sure that there would be something there, like hey, if you're actually in danger, yeah, there's something here probably that's going to be able to help you out. But these are questions I have to ask because legal is it's spaghetti. It's spaghetti. Everything intertwines with each other, and certain things interact in certain ways, but other things don't interact in certain ways. It's quite literally playing like a very complex card game. Okay, play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Have you seen what Yubel's turn 1 looks like? Good God, that thing can go on forever if played right. Okay. I'm making some really weird comparisons.
The cease and desist letter, only quoting a portion of the firm's website, and some have suggested that the cease and desist letters were from the law firm Quinn Emanuel. And the name of the firm, Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart and Sullivan, fits the amount of space in the cease and desist letter that Dogpack shared on Twitter. Now, if so, these are not lawyers you want to mess with. I personally never met a lawyer from Quinn who wasn't a huge asshole.
Can you imagine your law firm? That is public perception. I have never met a lawyer from Quinn Emanuel who is just not an absolute POS. Wow. LegalEagle gonna get a cease and desist? Oh, whoa. Bro. So I guess when I say lawyers are simultaneous my least and most favorite people, right? This seems like the kind of people that potentially is going to fall on the least side of the spectrum, right? Where if this is true, if they are just pretentious pricks, right? Yeah, not someone I necessarily want on me, right? Not necessarily someone that I want, coming after me, right? However, people in chat, Ollie, other people as well, being like super LegalEagle, right? Cool. Could probably have an amazing discussion about copyright. Awesome, right? Totally cool. But the moment someone starts talking like cease and desist, legal action, lawsuits, suing, man, we have rolled for initiative, okay? I need to shut up and I need to continue. They're notorious POSs. I've heard about them in the UK. Good God. So this has a reputation. Wow.
In a way that's counterproductive to their client. But still, they have a reputation for scorched earth litigation.
Okay.
But on the other hand, with respect to the NDA, it seems like most of what Dogpack has disclosed was already in the public and is based on accounts from other people, not what he witnessed firsthand. He certainly used his status as an ex-employee to make it seem like he has inside knowledge. But from what I've seen, he seems to be largely relaying what other people are talking about rather than using his own firsthand knowledge. But without knowing the terms of the NDA, it's hard to say how much trouble Dogpack might be in. But on the other hand, it might not be a good look to sue a critic out of existence, another fellow YouTuber. Plus, it just creates more of a Streisand effect, too. But love him or hate him, if you're tired of seeing all the MrBeast clones on YouTube, you can see the best videos from the highest quality creators on today's sponsor, Nebula. And it's your last chance to sign up before the price increases on September 1st. Because Nebula is the streaming platform that my friends and I created from scratch to host our exclusive videos and special projects. On Nebula, you can watch all of our videos ad-free and early because our videos always go up on Nebula first. Plus, there's tons of exclusive content, and for a limited time, you can get a lifetime membership. You can buy once and then never again. It's the greatest deal of all. And I know—
Oh, whoa. I'm so sad I didn't work when I was playing Lord of the Rings Online and they offered a lifetime subscription. That piques my interest. You kidding me? Lifetime subscription? Whoa, that sounds good. Obviously, I would not react to anything on Nebula because I feel that as a paid platform, that's a little different, right? I reacted to, I think it was like the 2022 or 2023 World Economic Summit, but that's kind of like public, right? But like, no, like Pepperbox TV, Nebula, anything outside of that, outside of YouTube, I would not feel genuine about reacting to because I feel like I'm taking away value. But that does interest me though. Well, I like the QR code placement. I like that it's easy. I do also like that there is a lifetime membership option. Piques my interest a little bit.
Tens of thousands of you sign up for Nebula using the CuriosityStream bundle, but unfortunately that's over. CuriosityStream has informed us, and even included in their latest SEC filing, that they're not going to pay us bundle revenue through 2024.
Weird.
That means that my fellow Nebula creators and I won't get any money from those who signed up for the CuriosityStream bundle. So the bundle's breaking and you're not going to be able to have access to Nebula anymore after 2024. But if you want to support this channel, the only way to ensure that that money that you spend on Nebula goes to us directly is to sign up directly. And if you're new here, Nebula includes tons of exclusive videos from me, original series from your favorite people, movies, plays, classes, and more. With favorites like Johnny Harris, Neo, Jetlag, Real Life Engineering, Real Life Lore, and your most favorite LegalEagle. And exclusives on Nebula are getting really good. I've really been enjoying our new series Jetlag, The Getaway. It's kind of like The Amazing Race, but with some of your favorite YouTube creators. And it's hilarious because the whole thing is rigged against them, but they don't know it. You can also see my exclusive feature-length documentary, Bad Law Words Good, and other exclusive content, including my full-length interview with the screenwriter of My Cousin Vinny, and my Not Safe for Work video about lawsuits that are too hot for YouTube.
Nice.
Because what's truly special about Nebula is that it's a creator-owned platform built by me and other YouTubers and podcasters, and because it's a subscription service, we get to work on larger, higher-budget productions than we ever could anywhere else.
Right.
It's becoming the answer to the question, how do you get Hollywood-level production value without Hollywood-level BS?
Right.
And for those of you that want to share everything that Nebula has to offer with your friends and family, Nebula is now offering annual gift cards. So if you sign up using the link that's on screen right now, you can give a year of Nebula to a friend for 40% off the yearly subscription. And that's a gift that you can give to yourself, by the way, because you deserve it. So get a 40% off discount for you or a friend's yearly subscription, or check out Lifetime, where for $300, you can get access to Nebula forever. We're investing in more big concept, high-octane Nebula originals, and your Lifetime subscription goes towards that investment. In a way, Lifetime is the best possible deal of all. Either way, you'll get all of my videos early and get access to exclusives and support the ambitious projects that my friends and I are working on our own streaming site. So sign up now and get you or a friend 40% off of Nebula, or get the incredible Lifetime deal by clicking on the link below. And after that, click on this box over here for more LegalEagle, or I'll see you in court.
I love it. That was great. First off, if you have not checked out LegalEagle, do yourself a favor. Check them out. A lot of great videos, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cutting-edge legal stuff. Definitely, as you saw, deals with a lot of some copyright. It was very informative, very at you, but, like, obviously, when it comes to legal, there's stuff that's going to be said, you know, like, it's going to feel like a brick, right? But this is done in a way that I feel really anybody can grasp the concept at play here. So definitely go ahead and watch them. Obviously, this is a piece of reaction content, and I've tried my best to be as transformative as I can. I have effectively doubled the length of this. I'm sorry. Sorry for turning good video bad. But this is something that just interests me. I don't get a whole lot of time to actually talk about stuff like this because I feel like I'm usually dragged into other things and have other commitments and stuff like that video-wise. But stuff like this does interest me. And obviously, reacting to anybody, right? Whether I react to someone with 100 subscribers, someone react to 100,000 subscribers, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, right? If somebody does not feel I'm being transformative, if somebody feels like they don't want any reaction done to their content, absolutely someone representative of them on behalf of them or them themselves may reach out to me. I'm more than happy to comply with their wishes if they don't want the video shown. But yeah, this is a really cool video. This is going to be a case that I'm following. Obviously, when it comes to the Ava Tyson situation, from what I understand right now, adult being inappropriate with minor, I don't care how you identify. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big or small you are. Don't do it, okay? Get bent. Go away. I think I've been fairly consistent on that point, and I feel I would be very disingenuous if I called Dr. Disrespect out about it with an official statement. And on the information about this Ava Tyson situation being true, yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. That's disgusting. As an adult, you should not deal with a minor in any inappropriate fashion ever. That's not okay. But in regards to MrBeast, that's one of those things that I am currently not saying anything, not because I'm scared of a cease and desist or anything like that. I am currently I need all of the facts to come out before I even begin to comment on this, because this is going to be a very complex situation, much like the initial Dr. Disrespect situation when no official statement had been given. We just think that this is just, with some random or randoms, everything to gain by trying to out a big personality, celebrity, etc. So it's one of those that I look at, I need more concrete evidence. I need to see where this is going to go first before I feel comfortable commenting in any capacity. But I digress. LegalEagle did a great job here. Let me know what your thoughts are in the description down below. Comment section down below. I think the Nebula ad read was great, honestly. I think that I like the mass people, the amount of people that are moving to other platforms, Pepperbox TV with Fat Electrician, Grantham, Brandon Herrera, etc., where we have Nebula with LegalEagle, some of his other coworkers as well. I think that external platforms are going to be a great future as long as they're handled correctly. But see you in the next one.